All right, welcome to module training number 4. This is module training number 4 of the 10 times better program, and today, excuse my dogs, I don't know what the heck they're barking about. They're always barking about something, guys. Again, this is module training number 4, and in this module training number 4 of 10 times better the program, we're going to be talking about think like a business. Think like a business. Okay? Now, in the last training module, I talked to you about stepping into the future and how that's done. Okay? If you look at any successful company, any successful corporation, Apple, Microsoft, Toshiba, Samsung, if you look at it, all these successful corporations, what you will find is that they set an agenda, or they set a target a year in advance, and then they work quarterly throughout the year to fulfill that positioned goal that they set and positioned a year away. Okay, so for example, let's say Apple, for example, says we're going to put out a new product. Okay, and the new product, let's say, was the iPhone, the iPad, and they put that out. They would say, what do we want to make from this? How much do we want to make our first fiscal year of releasing this? And they come together, and the executives or the heads of the company get together and say, this is what we want. We should make this much. And they come up with a number, right? So they say we should make $80 million this year on this alone. So once they know that number, or they come up with a number, however they come up with it, right? They go out and they gather all of the company, all the employees, and they hold some type of conference, some type of session, some type of brainstorm, some type of release, to the company, and they say, okay guys, we've got the iPhone, we've got the iPad in position, and we are going to launch it to the public, and they give a date that's a year away, right? And then when they put that date out, the whole company knows, okay, on this date, that's when we release it. Wow. And they think about it, they have done this over and over and over. They keep doing it, right? So because it's a formula that works. So it doesn't matter if they already came out with an iPhone, they're going to come out with version 2. They're going to come out with version 2.0, version 3, version 3.1. It don't matter. They're going to just keep messing around with it. Think of Microsoft, with all the different, Windows systems that they put out there. Windows Vista, Windows this, Windows that, Windows Crash, and who cares, right? So they put out these different versions, but they give them all a release date that's a year away. Okay? And so that way it's energized. And that way every employee of that company is working towards the goal of that release date and energizing it, making it real. Although it is not even here yet, because it's being energized quarter by quarter, it's actually real in their minds and in their hearts, which is energizing it. And this is how they're able to meet their expectations, because it's energized in your heart and in your mind, and you're working towards it. And everyone's got the same like-mindedness and energy, and it becomes successful. Because whatever you write down becomes real. Nothing is real until you write it down. I showed you the scripture in Mark 11:24. See, if it's got to be written down, and then your heart energize it. Whatever you desire when you pray, be receive it, and ye will have it. Okay? So like I was saying, what they do, they put it out a year in advance, set the goal, and then make the announcement, do some meeting, company meeting, have everybody there, announce it, and then everybody's on the same page working towards that goal. This energizes it in their hearts, in their minds, make it real, and they work towards it, and it becomes reality. Now, what does this mean to you? It means that you have to set a date of how much money you are going to have. Not how much you want, not how much you're hoping to get, how much you will have. Okay? And that's what you wanted to do in the last training, is write the date. It's got to be, matter of fact, it was simple. The same date of the start date that you took that training, whatever that date was, that's the same date next year that you're going to have the amount that you say you're going to have. Okay, now, same date, just a different year. Right? Okay, now. So when you do that, as I mentioned, companies, all successful companies do it. And when they do it, inside the company, all of the employees or the whole team is working quarterly. Now, what is a quarter? A quarter is 3 months. And there are 4 quarters in a year. Okay? So what I want you to do is think like a business. Okay? And to think like a business simply means you must have an understanding of seasonal preparation based on the quarter you are in. I'm going to repeat it. You must have the mindset or the understanding of seasonal preparation based on the quarter you are currently in. What do I mean by that? Again, there are 4 quarters in a year, and there are 4 seasons in a year. What are seasons? What are the seasons that make the year? Okay, so the 4 seasons in a year are spring, summer, fall, and winter. I'm going to repeat them. Spring, summer, fall, which is also known as autumn, and then there's winter. Okay? Now here's what's happening. When you, let's say for example, when you go into the mall and you walk into a department store like Macy's or Sears or even any clothing store, right? What's the first thing you notice when you walk into a clothing store or a department store? What's the first thing you notice about your surroundings, about the atmosphere of any big department store? The first thing you will notice when you walk into these department stores is that they already are prepared for the season ahead. You ever notice that? I find it very interesting. So for example, if you walk into a department store, let's say in the winter, okay? If you walk into a department store in the winter and you go in, you're gonna find, of course, winter items, right? And let's say 2 months of winter have gone by. Now, how many months make up a quarter? 3. How many months make up one season? 3. Now, let's say you're you're in winter, and 2 months of winter have already passed by, and you walk in the store, will you still see winter items for sale all around the department store, and the atmosphere still have a winter theme going on? No. What you would end up seeing is the remaining winter items that weren't very successful at being sold, or they still had a little leftover, winter items, would be on a couple of racks in the back on sale. Okay? Discounted, dropped way down, certain percentage off, because they still have some overstock of some leftover winter stuff, but it's 2 months past or into the winter now, and so they think like a business, so they don't want to lose sales and get behind. So what do? The last month of every season is always dedicated to seasonal preparation of the next quarter or the next season. So what do I mean? So 2 months into winter, if you went back into that department store, they would already have spring stuff in position. You would hardly find any winter stuff. You'd walk around and all you see is spring wear, spring items, and you probably wouldn't even find any winter stuff, because they're already adjusting your mind to get ready for winter. I'm sorry, for for the spring. Now, think about this also, right? Think about it like this. You walk into a store sometimes, and it feels like they're pushing you ahead, right? Because you could walk into a store. This has happened to me so many times. I'll walk into a store, and I walk in, and suddenly there's all these Halloween, themes going on, because it's October. All the Halloween stuff will be out, and you'll be like, oh wow, it's Halloween. Okay, Halloween candy, costumes, pumpkins and stuff are all over the place. You can't miss this stuff in any department store you go in. Black cats, witches, And here's the crazy thing. Now watch this. On October 31st, you see that stuff everywhere. Right? The very next day, November 1st, the very next day on November 1st, you can go back into that store, and they will have knocked all that Halloween stuff out. They will have had a couple of shelves dedicated to Halloween leftover junk, tremendously discounted at 50 to 60 to 80% off, right? And the rest of the store is already in position for Thanksgiving. So this is what I noticed about successful companies when they think like a company, right? So what they do is they prepare themselves quarterly. And this is what you must do. You got to prepare yourself quarterly, right? So you have to think seasonally prepared for the quarter ahead based on the quarter you're in. So, for example, you could, when it's summer, right? Now remember that each season consists of 3 months. A quarter consists of 3 months. So quarters are seasons. Think of it that way. So now, in the summer, everywhere you go, for 2 months, 2 months of the summer, right? Summer products are all over the place. Boom, you can't get rid of summer products. June, summer all over the place. July, summer all over the place. The moment August hits, back to school wear. Hey guys, come over here. It's back to school over here. It's almost like you're like, hey, it's still summer, isn't it? Yes, it is. But in the mind of the business, in the mind of the business world, it's not summer. It's back to school season. Back to school season is in effect. So basically, it's already pushing you ahead. They're already pushing you ahead. So this is how they do it, right? And the same with fall. You're still in summer, because think about it, still in summer, then September comes, right? Now, I want you to think of this. It's September. Everybody goes back to school. Kids are getting ready to go back to college, and businesses are like, all right, we got to get stuff on track, man. It's September. The truth of the matter is, September is still in the summer, really still in the summertime, right? But the mindset's changed because, bang, it's a back to school season. Why? Because the businesses have pushed it that way. So your mindset changes.